In this video, we will learn how to animate. If you were too lazy to follow part 1, where we model this room, or you already know modeling but want to try animation now, you can follow along by downloading the project file for free from the link down in the description. It will be the same link as the shortcut PDF. You'll find both the animated and non-animated .blend file inside that. Before we start animating, we need to make sure the objects have the scale applied. To know if an object has the scale applied or not, expand the sidebar by dragging the little arrow, or press N. Here in the Item tab, if you see the scale values are set to 1, that means the object has applied scale. If it's other than 1, then you need to apply scale. So let's check all the objects which will be animated if their scale is right or not. And I will apply the scale if it's not applied yet. So the first thing which pops up in our animation is the floor base. You can see the floor is only changing its size in the animation. So we only need to animate its scale properties. But if I press S to scale the floor, it's scaling towards the center. Right click to cancel the scale. This is due to the pivot point being set as the median point. You can also make your object scale towards the cursor if that's selected. Every object you add to the scene has an orange dot at its center. It's the origin point. It's like the anchor point. The transformations of the object depends on it. But our base has its origin point outside its geometry and not at its center. This happened since this was initially part of the cube we added in part 1. And the origin of that cube was at the center. So now we need to move the point back to the object. Quickest way you can do that is by going to Object, then Set Origin, or simply right click, Set Origin, and Origin to Geometry. This will bring the origin to the center of the object. Now for animation, we need a timeline editor. So let's change our bottom editor to a timeline editor. Here you can move the playhead to scrub through your animation, scroll to zoom in or out, and spacebar to play or pause the animation. If you go to Output Properties, you will see the frame rate is set to 24 FPS. So this means in our timeline, we have 1 second of animation at 24th frame, 2 seconds at 48th frame. Let's now move the room to the left with Shift plus middle mouse button. But the camera doesn't move with it. So undo, and first unlock the camera by clicking the lock icon. Then move the view with Shift middle click. Lock the camera back. Now just to animate with no distractions, we can hide all the objects which is not needed at the moment. First, let's select the floor as well as the ground plane, so there is something to sit upon. Now go to Object menu and under Show or Hide option, select Hide Unselected or use shortcut Shift plus H. Also, if you expand the Overlays menu, you can hide the floor and the axis lines as well. Then simply drag the toolbar to left to close it or press shortcut T. Now make sure you only have the floor selected and not the ground plane. Then in the timeline, let's place the playhead at frame 24, which will be 1 second. We can shorten it later. And with the mouse cursor on the scale region, right click and select Insert Keyframes. Then let's go back to the starting frame. In the viewport, press S to scale. and type 0 so it disappears, and left click to confirm. Then again, with cursor in the scale region, right click and select insert keyframes. Now if I press space bar, we have our first animation. Next we need to animate the floorboards. So go to the outliner and make the floorboards visible. For this we don't need to animate any transform property. For the floorboards to reveal one by one, let's go to the array modifier. Make sure the floorboard is selected, not the floor. Let's go half a second further, which will be 12 frames, and click the point near the count in array to add a keyframe. Then scrub back to where the floor base appeared and lower the count. If you slide it, it doesn't go lower than 1, but you can overwrite it by simply typing 0 here. Now let's click the diamond to add another keyframe. In the timeline, you can select any keyframe and drag it away to make the animation slower. But let's keep this to where it was. Now unhide wall object from the outliner. Then select it. In the animation, the wall scales up from bottom to top. But if we scale our wall here, it's not gonna do that, because object origin is not at the bottom at the moment. So simply right clicking and setting origin to geometry won't work here, because the central point of the wall is gonna be in the empty space above the floor. So instead, let's look at another way to move object origin. With the model selected, go to the options in top right corner, select effect only origins. Once you do that, you will be able to move the origin. Let's lower it down. I'll switch to front view to align it to bottom. Once done, turn off the effect origin. The shortcut is Ctrl plus period key. Now let's place the playhead where the floorboard animation ends, and S to scale down the wall. And since we want it to happen only vertically, press Z and then 0 and left click. In the scale field, right click and insert keyframes. Then move the playhead 1 second further and set the scale back to 1. Right click and insert keyframes. Now let's unhide our window and select it. In the frame where wall is visible, let's scale down the window. S, 0 and left click. Then take cursor to scale region, right click and insert keyframes. Then move the playhead couple of frames ahead and drag over the scale field to edit them together. Then type 1 so it scales back to its original size. Then insert keyframes. Now let's hide this from the outliner and play the animation. When the animation starts, I can still see the face of the wall. You can only see the whole couple of frames later. It's because when the cube is scaled down, it actually went inside the wall. So to fix this, let's unhide the window back and enter its edit mode. Press Tab, then A to select all its part, S to scale, and X to lock the X-axis. Make it longer, so it extends beyond the wall. Now if I hide this again and play, the whole starts from the beginning. Now let's unhide the window plane. I want this plane to only be visible once we see the window hole appearing. So place the playhead just before the hole starts to form, and in the scale field, right click and insert keyframe. Then go a few frames back, but make sure wall is full grown. Then S to scale and 0 and left click. Right click on the scale field to insert keyframe. Now it's time for the bed. If you unhide it, only the parent appears. So click on the arrow to show its children and unhide them. We only need to animate the parent. The children will copy it. So with the parent selected, right click on the scale region and insert keyframes. Now we can copy keyframes from a previous model instead of adding new ones. This will save us some time. So let's select the window plane. Select both the keyframes, right click and copy, or Ctrl plus C as a shortcut. Then select the bed and Ctrl plus V to paste. And since we didn't move the playhead, it's gonna replace the old keyframes. I can drag the second keyframe so it's longer. Now let's copy these two keyframes. Select the pillow, insert a keyframe by right-clicking on its scale region. Then with cursor on the timeline, paste the copied keyframes. I will now apply the same formula to add animation to the nightstand, lamp and the rug. Pause the video and try animating them on your own. Up until now, we have only added keyframes to the scale properties. Now let's try rotation. Let's select the pillow. Move the playhead to where its scale animation finishes. Bring the cursor to rotation properties and insert a keyframe. Then move back a little and let's change the Z rotation to something like 180 and insert another keyframe. For the poster to have a role in animation, we need a curve object whose path the image is gonna follow. If you press Shift A and go under curves, you will find very limited presets. So first go to Edit menu, Preferences, go to Extensions tab. If it asks for online access, allow it. Then search for extra curve objects. Install this. Save preferences if you see it and exit. Now with the poster selected, bring the Snap Pie menu using Shift plus S and choose cursor to select it. This will make sure the new curve will be added in the same location as the poster. If you bring Add menu, you will see some new presets. What we want is under Spirals, Archimedian. Before you click anywhere else, we need to change its setting in the operator panel below, so it looks like a spiral and not a circle. So in the operator panel, set the turn to 2, radius growth to 0.03 and radius to 0.01. Now press Tab to exit its edit mode. We need the poster to roll from top to bottom. So let's rotate the curve in the y-axis. Type 90 in the y rotation. Now hold Shift key and select the poster and press / to enter their local view. I will turn off the Solidify for a moment so it doesn't interfere with the curve visibility, and switch to right view. We need to rotate the curve so its ending point is downwards. But as you can see, the spiral is in the wrong direction. It needs to be on the right side, since that's where the wall is. So let's undo that. In the Y rotation, type -90. Now if we press R to rotate, it will give us what we need. Press Tab to enter edit mode. Select the endpoint. Then E to extrude. Z to lock the Z axis. Then left click. Exit edit mode. Now in order for the poster to roll, we need to add more resolution to it. So enter its edit mode. T to see the toolbar, scroll, and turn on loop cut tool. In the number of cuts, type 100. Then bring the mouse cursor near any vertical edge. And when you see the loops, left click. You could have also changed the number of cuts from its operator panel. Exit edit mode. Then in the modifier properties, add modifier, search for curve modifier. Now we need to select the curve object as the spiral. We also need to find out which deformation axis will give us the rolling effect. Right now, -y is the one we need. Although, by looking at the gizmo orientation, we might think it should be z-axis. We are getting this wrong axis issue due to unapplied transformation. Select the spiral, and since we rotate the spiral in object mode before, we need to apply it. So shortcut Ctrl+A and apply the rotation. Now -y won't give us the desired result, but it's gonna be z-axis as it should be. If I now move the poster on z-axis, it's going to roll. Now let's select the spiral. Since they are overlapping, you might find it difficult to shift select. So with the poster selected, go to outliner, scroll, and hold Ctrl and click on this spiral. You can also make sure which is the active object by looking at their highlighted color. We need the spiral to be yellow. Now Ctrl+P an object to make it the parent. Let's also rename the spiral with F2. Let's exit the local view by pressing the shortcut /. Select the spiral, which is now apparent, and bring it to the front of the wall. And also up. Select back the poster, and in the timeline, let's place the playhead after the rug animation. And in the location properties, right click and insert keyframes. Then move the playhead to right and drag the Z arrow upwards to reveal the full poster. Add another location keyframes. And since we don't want the poster to be visible throughout the animation, let's also add keyframes to the scale property after the rug animation. And move the playhead back. S to scale down and press 0 and left click. Then add another keyframe on scale properties. If I play the animation, I can see another issue. The poster is upside down. So unless you live in Australia, we need to fix it. Let's enter its edit mode. Then press A so all parts of it are selected. Then R to rotate it, Y to lock the Y axis, and hold Ctrl for 5-degree increments. We are going to set it to 180 degrees. To animate the light ray, let's go to its material properties. And since we connected emission to volume and not surface in part 1, expand the volume. First we added a gradient texture, expand this too, and one more. And now you should see the properties we changed in mapping node. Let's place the playhead where we want the ray effect to finish. And then click the point near the X location to add a keyframe. Now move the playhead back, slide the X location to 0, and click on diamond to add another keyframe. All of this could have also been done in the shader editor. You will need to right click on top of the property. We already animated the property, but it's not reflected in the timeline below. For that to happen, you need to have the node selected in the shader editor first. Then you should see the keyframes. Now let's go back to output properties. Say if we only need 5 seconds of animation, then we have to set the end frame here as 24 times 5, which is 120 frames. This could have also been set from the timeline. Now Blender will only render 5 seconds of animation, but our keyframes are extending beyond the end frame, so we need to scale them down. Let's place the playhead at the first frame since it's gonna act as the pivot point while scaling. Now in the viewport, press A to select all, but because the window cutter was hidden, it's not selected. So unhide that first, then A again to select all the models. Then in the timeline, press A to select all the keyframes. All of them turning yellow will mean they are selected. S to scale down, and let's bring them inside the 5-second mark. Also in the beginning, the wall object is visible. To hide it, we can select the ground plane and move that up just a little. In the final animation, we also have the whole room rotating. To do that, we can rotate the camera itself, but that will require you to set keyframes on both rotation and location, because the camera will also need to change its position. For simplicity, we can add another object, make that the parent to our camera, and keyframe the object's rotation. So first let's place the 3D cursor at the center of the scene. Shift S and cursor to wall origin. Then Shift A to bring add menu. We will select an empty, since the empties doesn't get rendered in final scene. Let's select pen axis for now. Now unhide the camera, select it, then shift select the empty in viewport or control select in outliner. Now Ctrl plus P and select object to make it parent. With the playhead in the first frame, let's set a rotation keyframe. Now set the playhead to frame 24 and rotate the empty on Z axis a bit. Let's go with -15. Right click and insert keyframes. Now set the playhead to frame 48 and let's select the first keyframe which has 0 rotation. Copy it with Ctrl plus C and paste here with Ctrl plus V. Next, set the playhead at frame 72 and rotate the empty to 15 degrees. Insert keyframe. Then finally, set the playhead to frame 96 and Ctrl V to paste the 0 rotation keyframe. Let's go back to frame 1 and with cursor still in the timeline, press A to select all keyframes and S to scale so it fits the length of the animation. In the output properties, scroll down and under output, you need to select a file folder where you want the animation to be saved. Then choose media type to video and below, set encoding container to MP4. Let's keep the rest as it is. We can play the animation to find out any mistakes and fix it before render. Now let's save the project. Go to File, Save As, choose a location, name it, and save. In the render properties, make sure it's set to EV to get faster render and not cycles. Now go to Render menu and select Render Animation. Give it a minute or two. And when it's completed, you can close the window. It's already saved. Simply go to the file location you selected, name the animation as you like, and play the animation. So this concludes both the parts. Hope you were able to make it. When you share it on Instagram, tag me at 3D Greenhorn so it's easier for me to see it. If you enjoyed the tutorial, feel free to like, share, or leave a comment. That will help with the algorithm. Also do subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss my next video. If you want to level up your modeling, join my 3D course. Instead of scattered random tutorials, it gives you a clear, structured path with 4 different hands-on projects that actually build your skills and confidence as you progress. By the end of the course, you will move from following along to creating independently. I will leave the course link down in the description. Hope to see you inside.